Welcome to today's webinar, courtesy of the Kentucky Small Business Development Center right here in Louisville. We're all about hooking you up with free, super secret business coaching and training services. It doesn't matter if you're just dipping your toes in or gearing up for a big expansion. We've got the goods, the tools, and the know-how to help you win. To get the scoop, cruise on over to LouisvilleSmallBusiness.com or hit us up at 502-977-5800. Big thanks for tuning in to today's webinar. Feel free to drop your questions or chat it up with our speaker using the chat feature. Let's dive in.
Hey, welcome friends. Thanks for joining us for another Toolkit Tuesday. I'm Dave Etkin. I'm the director here at the Louisville Small Business Development Center. So happy that you joined us today. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend and coworker, Janet Flaw. Hello, Janet.
Hey, Dave. How was your weekend?
It was great. A little stormy, but good.
Yeah. Hope everyone was safe out there.
Yeah. So, and for those of you joining us today, I'm glad to see you have power back and are able to join us. So thanks for making time. And as always, just because we have issues on occasion, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to see a toolbar. And if you don't, take your cursor and hover over that. And then there you'll see the little chat button. If you would just click that and then type in your name, say hello, and tell us where you're joining from, and let me know that you can hear and see us okay. And then, you know, this is a little selfish for me because I really enjoy seeing where everybody comes from, and I kind of want to know what everybody's up to out there in the world today. So there's Janet. She's downtown in our main office. I'm actually across the street in another office in our giant SBDC campus here in downtown Louisville. So just type in there and say hello. Anybody else out there today? Yeah, I can see you on the screen. There we go. Lawrenceburg. Hey, Shannon. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. My niece used to live in Lawrenceburg for many years. It's a nice little town. Thanks for joining us today. You know, and as we go through today, the presentation today, if you have any questions or comments, just put them in the chat, and I'll pass them on to our expert today. So, well, I'd like to welcome Aldo McLean. He is an expert in inventory management. You know, when we talk about inventory, I'm reminded of some folks that I had known back in the past, back in the day, when they decided to write a book, and then they ordered 10,000 hard copies of the book and had it delivered to their garage. And after their mom and dad bought their books, they were stuck with 10,000 copies of this book in their garage, which is actually inventory. So the trick is to estimate demand for what you have to sell, make sure you have exactly the right amount to sell. Because, you know, in essence, inventory is money on a shelf that you can't spend. And, you know, inventory can have a shelf life. So it can go bad or get stolen or damaged, and then it's gone. So understanding how to manage your inventory is probably one of the most important skills that you can understand as a business owner if you have inventory. If you have a service business, well, this is not your conversation, but if you do have inventory, this is the place to be. So Aldo, welcome. It's good to see you today.
Thank you very much, David. Good to see you.
Yeah. So why don't you jump in there and let's dive in. Just go ahead and share your screen, and let's talk about inventory.
Give me a minute. Go back to and sharing my screen.
Yeah, Shannon, thanks for be the brave one and joining us today. So and putting your name in the chat, so nobody else did. So good for you. Good for you. Gold star.
Uh-oh.
Hit slideshow and beginning. There you go. Looking
Can you
good.
see the screen?
Looks great.
Awesome. Should I start?
You go right ahead. I'm gonna back out and just sit quietly here and learn this stuff.
Well, good afternoon to you all. Thank you for joining us to this session. thank you, Janet and David, for allowing me to present this to your your customers or our neighbors. Let's put it that way. Yes, I'm an instructor at the University of Louisville, and I also have a small company called the North Coffee Importers. My information is there if you want to contact me later on. I will be glad to help. The talk today, it is the how to make your inventory work for you. And we have a very short content here. It will be introduction, very succinct introduction, talk very briefly about inventory management. We will spend a little more time on the step for inventory management. And at the end, some kind of Japanese philosophy on stock. We all practice that in a way, but I just want to make sure we are aware of that philosophy. Now, I created a small inventory management playlist on YouTube with some of the videos that can extend the what we review today. If you want to look at it, you just click on the link when you get this presentation, and it should be all good to go. If you have any video you want to add, let me know so I can just go ahead and include it in the playlist. And thank you. Just as an introduction, the definition of inventory is very different for the different people. Inventory, as you see here from Murphy and Woods, they say that those are stock and goods that we keep to supply our manufacturing or perhaps to our customers. But you also have to think that there are sales company, not only manufacturing, maybe a restaurant, and we keep goods in inventory as well, and that will be their inventory. If you're a service company, on the other hand, you keep things in store to make sure you can create that value to your customer as well. So, inventory can change a little bit. This is a definition for manufacturing, basically. Some ideas about the inventory. Well, it's the second biggest cost in a small business. The first one is labor cost. And if you are between 25 and 35% of your business budget in inventory, well, that's okay. Hopefully better or closer to the 25% over 35. If you're over that, well, you need some help. Hopefully we can help somehow. There are another distinction. We would use inventory and stock indistinctively, right? We say, oh yeah, I have some inventory, have some stock. Some author would say, well, there's a difference. Stock is what you physically have. Meanwhile, inventory includes the raw materials, perhaps, and so forth. I agree with some authors saying that inventory and stock is different because stock is physically what you have. Meanwhile, inventory, it's not only the physical component you have, but also the information about those components. So with that information, we can sell, right? It doesn't matter where the stock is. It could be on our side. It could be in another factory or maybe another supplier or maybe any other warehouse, for instance. As long as we have the information, we can do a lot with it. And that's what happened with nowadays, Amazon and Walmart. You see the inventory. You don't know where it is, but they can ship it. It doesn't matter where it is. Okay, so inventory implies information, and that's where we will be what we will be looking at in a way. So for I use this picture from my coffee business. Is my brother and his wife and I are the co-owners. This is our inventory. This is all in Costa Rica. These are drying beds for coffee beans. We have access to this inventory anytime. Once that those beans are dry, then they pack them this way. Those are 100-pound bag. It looks a little bit bigger than that, but that inventory is at the farm. We don't have to access it until we get an order. So I don't have any inventory, but I have the information about each one of these products available. Okay, so that's the key. Now, when we look into how to manage our inventory, the first thing is to look online. I did that to try to see what would you see when you start looking online. If you look at, this is the Square, that company that we're all using around, the Square POS, the point of sale to sell our products and so forth. They have an approach to inventory management. And you will see here, it says, hey, apply FIFO, audit your stock, consider drop shipping. Yeah, that's good. remember your ABCs, right? I'm not sure what they're talking about with the RBC. We will review that in a minute. This is their prescription for inventory management. Same thing with Oracle. This is the big company that has all these applications for huge companies in inventory management. They have 18 points that you need to look into. Some of them are safety stock, Six Sigma. I don't think for a small business we need to do that much. Well, I just brought it to you so you could see how different it is from company to company. If you click here, you will see the website where I got this information from, right? This is the BDC as well. The BDC is the British Development Center, I think. Kind of forgot. I like this one very much because they say, well, classify your inventory. Use anything you can to classify your inventory. Optimization of your inventory is a good deal as well. Choose an inventory technique and so forth. I like it. It's short, but it's also meaningful and broad. Okay, but well, we have our own. Okay, yours and mine. We will look into 11 points, and that's kind of what I'm going to describe right now. We go from tracking your inventory all the way to use a cloud-based inventory management system. This has no order. I'm not saying that one is more important than the other. You just craft it the way you like based on your business goal and type of business you're dealing with, right? So for tracking your inventory, you have to look for any SKUs you can have to start tracking your inventory. You can use the same key performance indicators that you are looking for your business overall, and try to track that often related to your inventory to try to see how things are moving. You want some language to translate what the inventory is trying to tell you, and that's kind of very important for our business. Of course, if you track your inventory, try to keep the cost of goods sold, try to track the inventory holding costs as well. And this is very important because this increases the loyalty from your customer as you can provide different level of service. By the way, level of service, you will see it here. These are level of service imply how much or how often you can provide the products to your customer when they need it. So if you are at the level of service of 88%, that means that 88% of your customer will walk out with the products or services they're looking for. Maybe 12% couldn't find them. But if you see the cost is low, if you try to increase that by 2%, the increase in the cost would probably be 100%. And it triggers exponentially like this. So providing a service level of 96%, it could be a little bit costly. So you have to use this crafted in such a way that you can provide the best level of service to your most important customers. You would like to do it for everybody, but the cost will probably be unbearable to your business. Okay, so keep these service levels in your thoughts. The second one is ABC analysis, or don't forget, remember your ABCs. And the ABC is a classification model that we use based on the Pareto approach, right? 20/80s. If you look at this, we're using the annual sales and the accumulated sales to try to break this down into A, B, and C's, right? So you will see here we have products that actually contribute to 80% of the accumulated sales, right? Those are the A's for us, the B's as well. They contribute to 10% of the accumulated sales, and this one that we'll call C's will contribute to just about 5%. So 20% contribute to 80 of your sales, 30% of the product will contribute to 10%, and that will basically describe this long tail you will see here, okay? These are your most popular items. These are 20% that will contribute to 80, so we have to protect that one. This is 30% of your items that kind of, they're popular and they're not, but it's 10%, so you know it's in between. Now these are niche products. You don't sell them often. They just contribute to 5%, but they're taking a big chunk of your warehouse or your storage, right? So you need to keep that in mind. Hopefully this type of segmentation or maybe classification will help you try to understand what your inventory is telling you, and you can do this by products, okay? That would be best, or you know, all the products together just to have a holistic idea of what's going on. We will use this long tail a little bit later for some of the analysis. The economic order quantity is what you saw before about optimizing your inventory. It's important for us. We call it the EOQ. And the whole idea is that, there is a point where the total cost of inventory is the lowest possible. And that's where we need to operate as much as possible, okay? You will see here, this is your total cost of inventory, and it's really low. I like this one, okay? If I would not like to be at this point, which is maybe 800 units order, let's say, because, well, the total cost of my inventory could be better, right? So we are trying to use the EOQ model to try to identify what queue is this and try to order that amount every time. And that amount will make sure that the total cost of inventory is low. And this happened because, the total cost is a relationship between a holding cost and an ordering cost. We'll show that in a minute. Those two contribute to the total cost of inventory. And at that point is when those two costs are almost the same. Now, this is another way to see it, same thing, but it's kind of magical. When you track these costs, you will see this structure right away. So this is how it works. If you are at 1, this is your EOQ. This is the order, the number of items you need to order at every order to minimize your inventory. If you double that, your cost will increase by 25%. If you undershoot it by half, it will increase by 25%, your cost. Now, if you do 10% more, well, you just increase 0.4%. So being around your EOQ is pretty effective to control those costs, right? And you make your inventory work for you that way, right? So keep this in mind. We'll probably use it, see some areas a little bit later. For instance, if this is your EOQ, your optimal order quantity, 600, and this is the rate of the customer coming in to buy your product, you will see, you will start depleting their products until you hit 0. And of course, you will have to place an order for that EOQ again, 600 units, to bring back your inventory and keep going again, right? If your EOQ is 100, well, you will have to order more often, right? However, by doing this analysis, you will know which one will be best for your business to lower the cost as much as possible for your inventory. There will be a cost, but it's going to be low. Now, if you are doing something different, there is a EOQ for you. If you're doing quantity discounts, your unitization of your products, or you are limited capital, so you need to buy what you can buy, there should be an EOQ that can fit, that can help you figure this out. And that's what I want to bring about in this slide right here. Okay, now we have ABC analysis, EOQ, now the reorder point. It says formula. I should have taken that formula out. I don't have any formula, so don't worry too much. This is kind of a management approach to it, right? So, but shouldn't be a formula, but it should be policies. When it comes to policies, we have perpetual review and periodic review. These are two different reviews, and maybe some of you know about this already. This might trigger some ideas to continue fabricating or work using this model. Okay, so the first one is when every time we buy a product, we will check the inventory right away to see if we hit the minimum. The minimum number that I can keep my inventory before I place a new order is very important, okay? So every time we scan a product, it will check our inventory and tell us, hey, no, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. Oh, you're there yet. You need to generate a new order for the queue that we have been talking about. The periodic review basically is that you don't worry about that too much. And every week, maybe at the end of the day or at the end of the month, you will review your inventory, see the level, and then order the amount of unit that you need, right? To keep your inventory at the level you're looking for. That amount will be a queue as well. So this is how it looked like. This, at least for the first one, the first one, I just forgot, perpetual review. There's a reorder point, right? So this is your queue. Customer will come in, buy your product, and then when you hit this point, then you generate a new order for that queue. But there's a lead time from where you place the order to when you receive it. And well, during that time, you still have some product before it is replenished again. Okay, so this is pretty good. The perpetual is the same, but this reorder point will be probably a week, maybe a day, and so forth. Okay, so it's a little more tricky, but it's fine. Now, if you use your classification that we had before, it gives you an idea. Hey, you know something? I can use the perpetual review for my most popular items, the 20%, maybe 30% of my popular items, because I review them all the time. And I know when I have to replenish them. And meanwhile, the periodic review is the one that I want to check every week or maybe every month. And whatever I need to order, I will place an order and do it. Okay, so having the ABCs will help you define or determine what kind of replenishment policy you want to use. Okay. Now, the push-pull that we need to consider, I like push-pull. I think we use it all the time, but we are not really aware of it. I'll show you some examples for the push-pull. Push-pull is the idea that for some markets, you just make the products and push it to the market. Hey, go ahead, take this product, okay? Go, buy, right? Or the pull will be a little bit different. You wait until somebody places an order for their product, and when they do, then you produce that product and send it to them, right? So it's fantastic because we can have one or the other or both. If we use both, there is a boundary where the products are being pushed and the products are being pulled, right? So it's good. We use it often, and I will show you how. If you have a restaurant and it's a buffet, you're doing push. You cook all this food and put it out there outside for people just to come in and get whatever they want for a fixed rate, right? So that's fantastic. But you use pull when it's a la carte. A customer will take the menu and they will order something, and you will go inside and prepare it right away, and that's pull. If you have push-pull, it could be like a burger joint. You will have all the greens, the tomato, lettuce on the side, maybe some of the peanuts or whatever, waiting for somebody to come and tell you what kind of burger they want. You will cook the patty with all those features, maybe mushroom or whatever, and then you put it on what has been pushed before, the lettuce and tomatoes and all that, ready to go. Same thing with mobile phone. We build mobile phone in a bunch and just push it to the market and discount prices and all that, because we know there will be some market for it. To do this, you need to have accurate forecast, maybe not accurate, but forecast as well. I have been buying some kitchen cabinets, and that's purely pull, completely pull. We have been waiting for 6 months. So yes, when you place an order, you pay, and then they manufacture it for you. So this is pull, and that's how we should go about this. For service, a bus route will be push, a doctor visit will be pull, or a haircut because the person is there waiting for you. Anytime that you show up is a pull push, right? Now, pull is reactive. So we wait until the demand is there, and we do. Push is proactive. We push all this product into the market. A combination of those is what we do often. We just create an awareness that that's what is going on. Hopefully this will help you figure that out. Besides pull and push, there's something we call the cross-docking. You saw that earlier when I was showing you, and I believe it was the Oracle NetSuite approach to inventory management. They have a cross-docking. For some of you will be a winning proposition, the cross-docking. I'll show it real quick. The cross-docking is to try to reconfigure freight as they are being transported from origin to destination, right? We have cross-docking is the pure reconfiguration of that inventory. Mixing is when you do an additional addition to that reconfiguration. And assembly, I think assembly should not be here. I'm going to change this before I send that to you. Okay, so this is how cross-docking will work. You have suppliers. Each supplier has a different product for you. If you have some customer asking you a combination of this product, you can very quick, as you get the orders from your suppliers or the shipment from your suppliers, you can craft orders for your customers right away. Now, if you don't do this, you will probably need for some suppliers to send some product to your customer. This is a drop shipping operation, or maybe just a delivery from subcontractor or any other type of structure. Okay, so this is very costly in terms of transportation, and because these are LTLs, less than a truckload, it's even more expensive, right? So we try to ameliorate or minimize the number of routes in the transportation by using this type of cross-docking operation. Mixing, on the other hand, is that you will keep some inventory, and with that inventory, you should be able to include your current inventory into the mix of those products to your customers. Right now, I have to say that we at Doc Nurse Coffee Importers, we use a lot of cross-docking. We work with 24 farms in Costa Rica, and each one of them will ship to us the product when we are getting ready for shipment to our customers here in America, which are roasters, and then we just combine those products from different farms into a pallet or 2 pallets for our our roasters here, and ship it directly. So this is a great operation. Again, I don't manage the inventory. The inventory stays in my hand during that cross-docking operation, which could last maybe no more than 6 hours. So if we have the right labor. Sometimes it's a little slower than that. So yeah, it's a great operation. We're halfway through the presentation. I hope you still have a little strength or to finish up. We're not too far away. David, can I continue, or is?
Yep, keep going. Yeah,
okay, great.
Questions yet?
Thank you very much. So drop shipping. It took me a little bit of time to figure out what drop shipping was, because in a way it's very similar to, or somehow similar to a third-party logistics, perhaps, or maybe a subcontractor, or a supplier that has a very close relationship with you, and they can take care of some of your products, okay, some of your orders from your customers. But drop shipping, in this case, you will see here, selling goods they don't keep in stock. So it has been popularized because there are many individual small companies that have no product whatsoever. They just connect you with suppliers that can provide that product. Meanwhile, this company will show those products as that's theirs. And when you receive it from them, you will see a packaging and all this information, maybe the receipt and all that, as if it was from the original company, okay, from the company that requested drop shipping. So it's fine. I would not advise anybody to do only drop shipping, but if it's how you do things, that's fine. So the idea is that the supplier send the goods directly to the buyer, to your customer, okay? And now, so what happened with drop shipping is that, okay, well, to be competitive, we will have to have some level of drop shipping. We will probably need that. Well, what should we drop ship? Okay, what if we drop ship the 70% of the items that contributes to maybe 90 or a 10 or 15% of your total revenue, as we saw before. That's okay to drop ship. You do not drop ship your most popular item. That's your core. You have to protect that as goal, okay? And you can take some of these, maybe 10%, 5% of B products right here and keep them in your inventory and supply those. Meanwhile, the rest you can just look for another supplier and drop ship it. Why not? So if you want to drop ship or you are struggling to keep this inventory on hand, well, consider drop shipping. That would be probably the best approach you can look into right now. Demand forecasting, we need to try to forecast our demand. It doesn't matter what you do, try to forecast somehow your demand. It is important for a push system. It is important for making to stock. You will see here to fulfill some orders, or at least have some numbers that you can work with for your EOQ and so forth. Now, it is not so hard to forecast. You can use judgmental method, time series. This is more mathematical and probabilistic formulation, cause and effect, or go to one, get some online information from your website, perhaps, or your provider of the online service. For sure, you can do that. Now, I would recommend to start with a judgmental method. And this is kind of, you ask somebody, hey, what do you think? How much are we going to sell ice cream? How much ice cream are we going to sell this month? They will be like, I don't know. It's hot, so plenty. 100 cones, right? Oh, well, that's a good forecast. Why not? Do this as many people as possible, and then just average, maybe just to distribute that risk and kind of get a sort of idea of what's going on. Okay, you can do that as an start, and then you want to move to a more secure type of forecasting technique. If you do the cause and effect, it's just a very simple example. If you're selling ice cream and it's cold out, that's not gonna work out well for you, right? So it's some cost that will tell you how the what kind of quantities can you be looking ahead to sell, right? Look for a forecasting technique and really important. Use FIFO or LIFO. FIFO is first in, first out. When you receive your product, which one will you fulfill first? And LIFO is the last in, will be the first out, okay? So my only advice on this is that those modes, those methods has an impact in your taxes, the inventory valuation as well, and the inventory obsolescence. So you have to be careful. I think it would be safe to talk to your accountant and tell him, hey, or tell her, listen, what do you think I should wear or should use, right? In this case, and they can tell you based on the product you're selling, what would be the best system for you. Now, these are not the only one we have. We have many more, right? We have the FIFO, the LOFO, the HIFO, first expired, first out. That's for a pharmaceutical company, because when you buy those products, they send you whatever they have, right? It's not sequentially the expiration date. There's no sequence in the expiration date. So be careful. You might want to use some FIFO, or so forth. And if the cost is an issue for you on valuation or obsolescence, perhaps you want to use the LOFO or HIFO. So there are many other options for you, not only FIFO and LIFO. Safety stock is one of my favorite because we don't think of this very much, but it's a piece of stock that we put somewhere, and we forget about that. And in the case of that we have a customer needing it, we can remember, oh man, we are out, but I put something on the side and I can continue selling to my customers. So when you put up maybe $5 or $10 in your wallet somewhere, or your purse, and when you don't have any cash, you remember suddenly that money is there, right? That's a safety stock. Safety stock is a tool for a demand uncertainty, as you can see here, and it's really important. You will see why. And this is how it works. This is your Q, and this is your absolute zero, and this is how the customer come and buy your product, right? Sometimes you are a little bit over, completely empty. You already send your reorder. You place an order to your supplier to send more product to you. That's fine. But sometimes your demand goes is stronger, right? So you hit the zero and you continue going down. If you have a safety stock, then you are good. You're good to go because, well, you know, you have a couple items, you don't lose that sale. You know, in services, let's say, for instance, Delta or American Airlines, all these airlines, they will oversell their tickets, right? So if the plane allows for 120 people, they will probably sell 125 seats because they know that there's a probability that 5 people or more will not show up. In that case, they put this other in, and that's fine. If everybody shows up to the trip, they will probably just give you additional money to stay behind and let those 5 stay a little longer. Okay, still is better for them economically, right? So this is very well analyzed, and I just, you know, bringing that example to you so you can see how that works even when it comes to a service itself that you're providing. Now, so it is important to have your safety stock. There is a video or two of safety stock in that in the playlist that I just left. I just gave you the link in the first few pages. Now, this is the deal. You need to find a cloud-based inventory management software to track all these for you. Some of them track some things. Some others will track some others from our approach, or the most expensive one will have more features and you can track many of these. This is basically this is what I would recommend your cloud-based inventory management should have, right? It should allow you to compute automatically, it will do it for you, compute your ABCs for a family of product or each product individually, calculate or recommend an economic order quantity for you, tell you how the reordering policy will work, and track that, of course, analyze the safety stock and give you some recommendations of that, interface with any drop shipping company or software so you can facilitate drop shipping. Whatever order you receive to your website, it will be sent to the drop ship company directly, and then they can continue with that process. Meanwhile, they will quantify the software will quantify what's going on in between, and then it can analyze your inventory based on what policy you use for replenishing or fulfillment. Okay, FIFO, LIFO, or FAFO, or HIFO, whatever. You know, just match that with your inventory management system. That's important. Now, these are some, well, not suggestion. I mean, if you type best free inventory management systems, this is probably what will show up first. If you hover over this picture, well, you will see the website that I used to get all this information. It's kind of interesting because the Square, this is the inventory management system. Meanwhile, we're using the Square POS, the point of sale. So they connect, so the Square can also manage your inventory if you have a large inventory, not only sales. Soho, Sortly are pretty good ones. They're all a certain level free. I like the Odoo because it allows me to do what I'm doing. You know, it can allow you only 25 orders per month. We're under that, so that's pretty good. But every time we receive an order is for 1,000 pounds of fresh green beans. So, you know, with 25 we were pretty good, and it tracks your inventory and so on that. So this is a pretty good one as well. So this is just an idea that am I getting what I need to get based on what we just reviewed on the attributes that an inventory management system should have, right? Now, if you have more money to invest and you can go with a little more expensive one, you know, the ShipStation is best for e-commerce, so it will facilitate your operation as a drop shipper. So it will display as your product, but it will connect to or interface to your supplier so they can fulfill your products and so forth. Fishbowl is a good one. The Sin7 make me think of Cincinnati for some reason. This is a good one if you are manufacturing from cakes all the way to maybe a component for a vehicle, let's say. So there are good ones. And this one came from Forbes, the Forbes magazine. They tell you what they think is best. I like it because you will see Monday around often. They're everywhere. And Lightspeed is another one that includes a POS, a point of sale, that is kind of commonplace, right? This is just giving you the idea that, well, when you look, you have to look for not only the inventory management system itself, but whether the inventory management system is providing the tools that you're looking for, okay? That's a good way to measure it. And last is the Japanese philosophy on stock. So you will see here, the Japanese philosophy said that when you have plenty of inventory, you are awesome. It's like a boat on a very large pond, right? A large lake, or maybe even the sea. You can load it with whatever you want, and it will do the work. So we feel so comfortable to say, okay, listen, I'm going to lower this inventory and start working a little bit lighter. But what happened is that this inventory hides problem. So when you try to lower your inventory from A to B, you will face the problem that the inventory was hiding before: volatile demand, bottlenecks in your operation, quality problems, right? So these are problems we know exist. So we need to be able to address those problems before we can start lowering our inventory. Hopefully, when we address some of those problems or all of them, our boat is not going to wreck on our new level of inventory, because this is going to be a challenge. So don't try just to lower your inventory. Make sure to analyze your operation and see if you can work at that low level of inventory. Okay, this was basically what I wanted to share with you today. These are the references of some of the picture and information I use, and I appreciate your joining, and thank you very much. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Aldo. That was great. You know, I think you just kind of demonstrated, I mean, there's a real science behind managing inventory, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. It's really complex, and we try to be simplistic about it, because simple rules will probably work 80% of the time. Then more inside rules, or specific and calculations, will help you 25% of the problems. So yeah, maybe this simple approach will address a lot of concern and a lot of operation issue that some of the small business managers or owners are facing, for sure.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for years, and you've made a real study of it, and you're an expert. If I'm a small business owner, I mean, where would I kind of start with just management inventory? What's the rule of thumb? What's the quick start? A couple steps that you would recommend to anyone.
Let me scroll down to our ABC analysis. I think this is what we need to start with. Okay. Classification of your inventory. It could be by family, again, by family, or the whole inventory that you have. You have to start checking, what is important, or what you are, what is the most sensitive product that you are dealing with. Okay, what is producing the larger amount of your revenue in a way. Now, this is important because in this case, we have the accumulated sales, but you can use it for, if you use the volume, it will tell you the 20% of the product, let's say, that takes 80% of the volume, let's say. Okay, so you can optimize your space in your inventory or your warehouse based on that. So if you want to track something else, not sales or space, you want to track how often you fulfill this product, well, you track that amount and use the same ABC analysis on fulfillment, and it will tell you what is being fulfilled more than others and where you should focus more of your efforts. Okay, so classification of your inventory, any way you can do it, it will be where to start, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so if everybody uses some sort of point of sale or even QuickBooks, I mean, this is easily produced, this type of analysis.
It should be. There are some. I'm not really sure about QuickBooks. I believe QuickBooks do not have some of the inventory management tools. You have to interface with another program, but don't take my word for that. But because not really sure. But that's what happened with some of the POS systems, right? You can track your sales, but it needs an inventory management system to be able to produce this type of information.
Gotcha.
Right. If it has both, then you are on the winning side. But you have to be careful. Right. So those are the questions to ask.
Got it.
Thank you for that. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I you know, I agree with you. I think this is probably one of the hardest things that a small business owner can get their head around, you know.
Yeah, it's a good start, but it might be intense for some of us. And once you find your structure, it started working well. You know, it's just a path you follow, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
You didn't really address this, and I'm pulling from my restaurant background, but what's the use of like having par levels within inventory management?
You said what? Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
You know, like a par level, you know, like a level, you know, a minimum order, I guess, the minimum amount that you would have before reorder, like a, I don't know, like a trigger or something.
I don't think I can answer that question right now, because you know, restaurant is very unique in the use of inventory, because some things are bulk, some others are unitizing. So yeah, I need to think about it, David. Yeah, for sure. But you know, it's important because there is a lot of logistic and inventory management in a restaurant, you know, and that's a unique set of tools.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'll check, but that's kind of interesting. Yeah, now you got me. I need to look into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming up on the top of the hour. I don't see any other questions. So, although this has been fascinating, and you've really given some good insights. I'm going to have to dig in on a few things. So, I really appreciate you joining us today. So, thank you.
No, the pleasure is all mine, David and Janet, because I teach these, and these are many chapters, right? All condensed in a way to many students, undergrad and some master students. The master students are more concerned about the management part of this. The undergrad students are more concerned about taking the exam and get a good grade, right? So I never get to know if this is something useful. Right. And I asked them, and they're like, oh, yeah, whatever, Dr. McLean, when is the exam? I'm like, oh, come on. So this is the opportunity to share this with other business owners, and hopefully they can say, listen, you know, this was useful. This wasn't, you know, it's the core, right? Is this really useful as we look into it, right? So it's a great opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Janet, thanks for driving the ship as always. I do appreciate everything you do.
Thanks for everyone being with us. We'll share the recording as well as the slide deck with folks later. And so make this available so you can go back and review and study a little bit more in depth. So thank you, Aldo, for joining us today.
All. And we will see you. I'll see you soon.
Yep. Yeah, and feel free to reach out to Aldo. He's a great resource, and the small business we're here too. So, all right, have a great Tuesday, and we will see you next week on another Toolkit Tuesday. We have a great one coming next week, so looking forward to that, and we will see you there. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, guys.